this is excellent. It's giving you a good balance there between firmness, softness, and good body control. Oh yes, 70 k's an hour. Very nice. G'day, I'm Paul. I'm a little bit sick, so sorry about the funny voice. This is a new Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. First time a hybrid has been offered in Australia in the Tucson range, and it's also received a facelift. So they've smartened up the look a little bit there, but also brought a lot of new tech and features to the inside, which I'll run you through shortly. Now, this is the top spec. It's called the Premium N-Line Hybrid All-Wheel Drive, priced at just over $60,000. If that is too expensive, the entire range kicks off just under 40 grand. This competes with stuff like the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, the Nissan X-Trail, e-Power, e-Force, whatever it's called, and also the Honda CR-V as well, amongst others. Today we're going to do a detailed review of this car, so if you do want to skip ahead to other parts of this review, you can use the time codes that are on the screen, or if you're on YouTube, you can scroll down and use the chapters below. And are you wanting to buy an SUV? If so, have you heard of Help Me Car Expert? All you need to do is go to Google, type in Help Me Car Expert, or scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you to the CarExpert website. It's not just me or Sean doing the video stuff. We're like a big company, 60 full-time employees, and on our website, you're gonna find news, reviews, and also our car chooser tool. If you're unsure which car you want, all you do is enter in all of your requirements. It'll spit out a stack of options. You can read the reviews, watch the videos, and then we can even put you in touch with one of our friendly dealers. Righto, let's talk about the design. So your optional colors, just under 600 bucks. You can actually get this in a matte color as well. It's only $1,000, which is pretty cheap. Now, the interesting thing with the Tucson for the Australian market is we get the long wheelbase version of the vehicle on this platform. It's actually available in Europe as a short wheelbase. And that means that it's around 15 mil longer than a RAV4, sits on a longer wheelbase than a RAV4 as well. So physically, it's actually quite a decently proportioned vehicle. We're not sort of cramped in on the inside there. In terms of the facelift, it's only really minor. There's changes there to the lower bumper, some badges. Outside of that, it carries that same sort of design with the LED running lights, and then the headlights tucked into that cluster down the bottom there. The N-Line also brings with it the sporty look and appearance that I reckon, in my opinion, works actually quite well for the Tucson. It kind of gives it a bit of a, youthful vibe. Down the bottom there, you've got a radar tucked in there, parking sensors as well. N-Line badge just here. Around the side, sitting on 19-inch alloy wheels, decent profile there as well. 55 profile on the tyres, so should mean that the ride is pretty decent as well. Another N-Line badge just there, 360 camera with an indicator built into the wing mirror. You get these black roof rails, privacy glass. Love this sort of 3D effect on the side here as well. It's quite defined and meaty looking. Come around to the back with me. Now around the back, you've got that Hyundai logo sort of right in the glass there. It kind of looks nice and cool. Shark fin aerial up the top there, a concealed wiper under there, hybrid badge off to the side here, and Tucson over there as well with quite a sort of complex looking diffuser at the rear there with dual exhaust outlets too. So let me know what you reckon in the comments section below. Do you think this is still a good looking car? Do you prefer the Sportage? Sportage is actually about to get a complete update as well, so I'll be keen to see what that looks like. Let me know your thoughts down there. So we are inside the Tucson. This is what the key looks like. You've got lock, unlock, remote start button there for the boot, and it's a proximity sensor key, so you can leave that in your pocket. Push button start just here. So this has become a whole lot smarter, and they've done a better job here of integrating storage as well. Main changes though are to the infotainment system. So the screens have gone from around 10 inches in size to 2 sets of 12.3, latest operating system. So it's got all the bells and whistles, and I'll run you through all of that in just a second. In terms of the look and feel here though, we're talking about a car that is now over $60,000. So fair lump of cash, but look, in my opinion, it actually looks really quite nice in here. It doesn't feel like you're getting robbed anywhere. You've got these nice seats with that material. You've got the soft touch dash up the top there as well, and this sort of fabric material too. So quite a nice sort of place to be seated. How soft are the surfaces? That's sort of a little bit firm, but not too bad there. And then soft on the door as well. Minimal use of piano black too, only just a little bit around here. We forgot our durometer, so I can't tell you exactly how soft they are. What we will do though is, when Sean finds our durometer, he's going to overlay it in this section here so you can see what that looks like. Now, build quality. That feels nice and solid. And our door slam, here we go. Sounds good. Now, let's talk about infotainment. I mentioned before that this system has been upgraded, so two 12.3-inch screens. So, colour touchscreen there in the centre. Look how nice and fast that is. I really like what Hyundai and Kia have done with the latest versions of their infotainment systems. They've just, I don't know, they've just made it very user-friendly and very straightforward. You get remote connectivity now with your phone as well with Blue Link, so you've got SOS buttons and the Blue Link button just there. So it really sort of is a fully featured system. You also have the ability to do shortcuts from the top there. You've got a quiet mode. There is a baby mode as well that I'll run you through when we go for a bit of a drive, which I think is quite interesting. And then in addition to that, you have all your settings for the hybrid system, which is all pretty straightforward, but it's good to see exactly where your energy is coming from, whether it's the battery or the engine. And then you also have other things like weather and services they pull in from online as well. On the smartphone mirroring front, you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Apple CarPlay wireless, look at that. Full screen. You remember that time? Wasn't that long ago where Hyundai and Kia just did not have wireless CarPlay. It is finally here, which is great news. And this is what Android Auto looks like. So again, full screen, wireless, everything you could ever dream of from a smartphone mirroring system. Sound system, 8-speaker Bose branded, really good sound system, very happy with that. Screen ahead of the driver, look, it's bigger. Functionality is pretty good, nothing sort of too crazy there. You can't do a great deal of customization to it. And to me, that's not the end of the world. It does everything you need it to do and nothing more or nothing less, which I think is a good thing. Now, what about your safety? So, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection, auto-dimming rear vision mirror, blind spot monitor, blind spot camera over here. And this one is cool, brings up exactly what is happening to the left and right of the car through those cameras. So, very good functionality there. Radar cruise control with semi-autonomous steering. And then, front and rear parking sensors with a 360 camera. I'll show you what that looks like. So vision is okay, sort of nothing spectacular. So you've got different sort of angles you can have at the front there. You can see down the sides of the car. You can do wide angles, top down, rear views sort of not too bad. Plenty of different views you can go through there as well. You've got a 360 view as well. If that is the kind of thing that you're into. And finally, this is what the horn sounds like. So practicality, what about your connectivity options? To start with, USB-C is the new norm, so gone is USB-A. I like down the front here how you can either charge or charge and do data. Very clever. And then behind this little garage door, you've got a 12 volts outlet, which is cool. Wireless phone charger up the top here with a grippy pad, so your phone's not going to be moving around too much. 2 cup holders just here. Have a look at this. They have really thought about everything when it comes to storage. Loads of room to put odds and ends. Center console here is nice and generous too. Storage inside the doors there as well. And also have a look at this. Storage up the top there too. Very nice. And then generously sized glove box as well. But no sunglasses holder up the top there because it's full of buttons and stuff for sunroof and other bits and pieces. And your comfort. So have a look at this. This is new as well. So gone is the old sort of buttony type setup. You've now got a screen here with buttons and then dual zone automatic climate control, heated and cooled seats. Love the way those buttons have little effects on them when you click on them, which is pretty cool. Comfort for your seats. These are pretty good. I've spent a fair bit of time in this car now. Alcantara on the seats there to sort of get your sweaty stuff away. Perforations as well for cooling. Little N badge there because this is the N line. You have driver memory and electric seat adjustment for driver and front passengers, so you can go forwards, backwards. Your backrest can go forwards and backwards. You can lift the front of the seat, back of the seat, lumbar adjustment. You name it, it's got it. Steering offers both tilts and reach adjustment. And on our reach test, this is actually a bit of a stretch for me. I don't know. See, if I do that, I can't really reach it. So you've got to sort of be driving like this, which, tell you what, I don't think I feel like I'm doing. So yeah, basically just a bit of a reach to get the edges of that screen. Second row, look at this. More wheelbase means more leg room. Got decent amount of knee room. Toe room is fantastic. Headroom is pretty good. Glass roof there opens up as well, so you're getting the benefits of a glass roof but sunroof at the same time. One thing I just noticed, there's 1, 2, 3 arm grabbers, but there's not one at the front. It's just empty. Do you know why that is? Let me know in the comment section below. Creature comforts, you've got some map pockets, air vents, 2 USB-C ports, the bizarre ability to move your passenger seat forwards and backwards without their consent. You have center armrests here with 2 cup holders as well. And that Alcantara finishes along the back here too with a little bit of sculpting there to hold you in when you're going around corners. ISOFIX points on the outboard seats as well. Look at that, heated seats too. God, kids are spoilt these days. Now, does our window go all the way down? Let's find out. So it's auto up and down. Oh, look at that. They have thought of everything. Now let's talk cargo space. So you've got a powered tailgate. Whip that open. So you have a little under 600 litres of cargo space available here in standard form. The interesting thing is that this actually has in hybrid trim more boot space than the non-hybrid version, and that's because they replace the full-size spare tyre with a space saver. So it does mean that you get less tyre, but it does also mean that you get more boot, and that means you can actually drop this down to the second tier down here, and that just kind of gives you a little bit more cargo space to work with. Ideally, you'd probably want a full-size spare, but anyway, that's one of the compromises you make by going to the hybrid. Now, what does it look like with the bags in there? So it's the laptop. There's the suitcase there. So decent amount of room there to work with. Other creature comforts, you've got a 12-volt outlet off to the side there, and then storage under here as well. You can also drop the second row from the boot if you want more cargo space. That expands the space to a little under 2,000 litres as well. So we've just hit the road in the Tucson Hybrid. Let's start off with the engine. I think that's probably the best place to begin. 1.6 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine. Let's actually start by switching all that stuff off. It is the most annoying function, the speed limit warning, even though it can't read speed signs properly. But they have actually listened to customers and done something, which is if you push and hold the mute button, it actually turns off the annoying part of this, which is when it beeps at you constantly. So we'll test it out now as we go around the track and see if it actually works as intended, but it is good to see they are at least thinking of customers. Okay, so internal combustion engine, it's actually almost the exact same engine that you're going to find in the non-hybrid version of this. Difference being the hybrid adds an electric motor and also adds a battery as well, a small battery, 1.5 kilowatt hours, and that means that you're getting the fuel efficiency benefits and also a little bit of an extra punch in the back. So the internal combustion engine on its own makes 132 kilowatts of power and 265 newton meters of torque, and that's then mated with a 47.7 kilowatt electric motor, and that combines output to 175 kilowatts and 350 newton meters. So pretty sort of decent numbers there, nothing too outrageous. And it's all mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. That is also different from the regular non-hybrid version of this car, which uses a dual clutch. And that to me is a really good thing, because dual clutches, I just think their days are done. In performance cars, they make sense. In family cars, I just don't think they make sense. They add a lot of complexity and just really don't make the driving process all that smooth, whereas a standard sort of torque converter, automatic transmission is the way to go. Now, what does all that feel like behind the wheel? So you've got this little EV indicator here, and then this indicator up the top there. So when you're gentle on the throttle, it actually just stays in EV. And then you can see when the internal combustion engine kicks on because your revs start increasing. You've also got a battery indicator down the bottom here that gives you an idea of how much charge you have in that battery. This is a really good hybrid system. It's not quite as, I guess, smooth as the Toyota system, but it has the benefit of not being as noisy. It's quite quiet even when that internal combustion engine kicks on, whereas the Toyota hybrid system in something like the RAV4 can be a bit noisy and thrashy, so this is a good middle ground there. I also love the fact, like, Hyundai are just so clever with some of the stuff they're adding to cars these days that we haven't seen in cars before. And while you have seen regen modes in EVs, we haven't really seen them here in hybrids. And you can see I have 3 levels of regen that I can go through, to the point where it is actually quite strong in terms of its regen. So I can fill the battery nicely without having to use the brakes. So I think that is a really cool feature. The other cool feature is baby mode. So I've currently got it set up in the custom drive setting, and if I flick over to baby mode, what it does is it smooths out all of the driver inputs. So it means that I can be just normal on the throttle, but all of the reactions from the car are very smooth. So it means that you're not getting sudden surges of torque, and it also means that when you put it into reverse, which I'll do now, we come to a stop, it doesn't surge as much. So put that into reverse, I can go like half throttle there, and it is so smooth in reverse. The whole concept is that it makes it a really smooth driving environment for having a kid on board. And if I go back to just normal mode there and go half throttle in reverse, it basically throws me forward like you would expect it to. So innovative stuff. You may not ever need to use it, but it's cool to see that they are just thinking outside the box and doing things a little bit differently. Now let's talk about fuel economy. So Hyundai claims a combined average of 5.3 litres per 100 Ks. Let's see what we are sitting on. I'm going to look around my GoPro here. 6.3, and that is predominantly highway driving. So it's an okay number. It is sort of fairly close to the official number of the non-hybrid version of this. So probably tell you that it isn't as effective as a hybrid. But at the end of the day, I think if you are driving more in and around the city, that's where you're going to see the benefits of this system. And that is still a really good figure anyway, so it's not the end of the world. So what does all that feel like on our sine wave? We do this at 130 k's an hour. It's the maximum speed limit in Australia. It really does make or break cars in terms of their ride and handling tunes. So let's see what the body control's like. So there's 130. So this is excellent. It's giving you a good balance there between firmness, softness, and good body control. It is just like tick, tick, tick. It is exactly what each manufacturer needs to aim for when it comes to tuning the ride on a mid-size SUV. Now, bumpy road time. Let's see what this is like. We do this at 90 k's an hour, which gives us an idea of what body control and the suspension is like on a terrible choppy road. There you go. Actually feels really good. So while it is a little firmer there to give you that sort of handling component, it doesn't make it too firm, and it means that you're still getting a really comfortable and composed ride without it sort of bumping and crashing constantly. So yeah, really impressive job there with this suspension tune. Okay, now, one of the things that Tucson has been praised for, our drive modes, Eco Sport and My Drive, is its handling. Let's see what it's like with a lap around our track. We'll see what it all feels like from behind the wheel. Yeah, very nice. Sits nice and flat. Like it's not sports car flat, but it's also not floaty and bumbling like some mid-sized SUVs can be, especially with the extra weight that you're carrying as part of that hybrid drivetrain. Actually feels really nice and composed there. Brake pedal feels great as well, and you're still getting a lot of that available punch from the hybrid system. When you lay into the throttle, it's sort of feeding in that extra torque. Tell you what, I'm pretty impressed with this. It actually feels nice and sporty for what really doesn't need to be a very sporty car. So if you do find yourself on your favourite mountain pass, it is going to put a nice and big smile on your face. So what's your visibility like? Down the front there, it's great. Decent sized wing mirrors with blind spot monitor built in. Visibility out the back is pretty good as well. Towing, 1900 kilo brake towing capacity, which is actually pretty decent for mid-size SUV. Now in terms of your road noise, it's pretty quiet inside the cabin here. There's not a great deal to complain about. Even on coarse chip roads, it isn't too boomy. We tested it up against our calibrated sound meter, and this is how it went. If you do want to see how this car compares to others that we've tested before, there is a link in the description below. Now, time to test our semi-autonomous functions. We do this at 70 k's an hour. Just an idea of how well the car will hold you in your lane when you're on the freeways. So this has a feature called Highway Driving Assist. It isn't HDA2, which is the system that allows the vehicle to change lanes for you. So it's a more basic version, but it does require you to be on like a registered highway for it to work. So it'll be interesting to see how well it works here on our not registered highway as we test our 3 outer lanes. So lane 1 there, it works great, holding us nice and central. Jump over to the next lane, see what it feels like up here. Okay, waiting for that to go green. It's doing a pretty decent job. It is a little over to the left of the lane there, but not the end of the world. I'll jump over to the outermost lane. See if it'll actually engage up here at all. No, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't like the angle up here. So works fine in lanes 1 and 2, but not in the 3rd lane. I found in practice that when I was testing it out, it worked fine. It did sort of hug that left lane a little bit too much for my liking, but for the most part, it was good enough. Now, time to do a little bit of performance testing. Slot this over to sport mode. Switch traction control off. Okay, we're going to go through to 120 so we can see what our 80 to 120 overtaking is like as well. Here we go. Okie dokie. So there is 100 and there's 120. Yeah, it's sort of brisk once it starts moving. Just off the line there, it's just a little bit lazy, but let's see what the numbers say. 0 to 100, 8.46. So yeah, pretty reasonable. And then 80 to 120, 5.56. So pretty reasonable as well. Yeah, not earth-shattering figures, but also quite respectable. So not too bad. Let's go back and do a brake. Alrighty, so stop from 100, just over 100. Let's see what this feels like. There goes my jacket. Oh, felt really strong from behind the wheel here. We are talking 100 to 0. Nice, 2.76 seconds, 38.12 meters. So really strong result there. If you want to see how this car compares in terms of its performance figures to other cars that we've tested before, look at the link in the description below. Now, how quick does it go in reverse? Here we go. Oh, yes. 70 k's an hour. Very nice. So the Hyundai Tucson Hybrid, what do we think? Look, I think they have now finally perfected this. It has the interior to suit the price tag. You've got great infotainment, all the technology's there. They've fixed some of that annoying safety stuff as well. You know, push of a button. You still have to do every single time you get into the car, but one push and hold, and then it stops beeping at you, which is thankfully quite good. Big boot, lots of room inside. Really is hard to fault this, and it's economical enough for what most people need, with enough punch to get you moving. So it's not one of those hybrids that starves the vehicle of its ability to actually accelerate. And then with 1900 kilos brake towing capacity, you can probably do a bit of light towing with it as well. So let me know what you reckon in the comments section below. Have you bought one of these? They actually had, and I forgot to mention this earlier, they have a much better supply than Kia does on, as it fires to life, they have a much better supply than Kia does on some of its hybrids and plug-in hybrids. So it means you're only going to be waiting around 3 months for one of these as opposed to the 6 or 12 month wait I'm seeing on some Kia products. So let me know what you reckon in the comments section. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it and you share it with your mates. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. I'm going to go have some lemon sip. See you later.